Actually, I've decided to turn this into a vlog. What I'll do is I'm going to record some thoughts before and after each of the last 3 episodes and just call it like, end of season vlog. Just random thoughts that are just probably too long and too scattered to be intros to specific episodes. And that way, if people are interested in what I think as I go through recording these final 3 episodes, it's here for you. If you don't give a shit, then that's cool too. So you can just skip it. I like to isolate things sometimes for the people who give a shit and who don't give a shit. Because that's what I like as a consumer. I like to be able to skip the shit I don't care about and jump straight to what I do care about. Alrighty, here we go with the last 3 good episodes of Community ever. Because, obviously, we know what happens next year. People also tell me that seasons 5 and 6 are not as good as seasons 1 through 3. Plus, they're shorter. They're only 13 episodes apiece. Which I think season 4 is also the same way. And so, that can be good or bad. Good in the fact that like they're only using their 13 best ideas, not they don't have to go with another 9 ideas that like are just rattling around in the fucking sock drawer. I guess we'll do this. We got to fill out the order. So I would think the premise of each episode would be fantastic, because they're only using their 13 best ideas for the last 2 seasons. But I don't think the Russos came back. I think at this point they're doing Avengers and shit. So we don't know how much the Russos contributed. I know Dan Harmon's a genius, but how much did the Russos contribute? Like, we don't know. Like, I know that shooting-wise, it's probably not going to be as good. And they do have action scenes on the show. And those won't be... There's no way those will be as good. So, a lot of the production quality is probably going to be less than. Maybe they'll even be less ambitious because they don't have these geniuses attached. Then again, maybe they came back. Like, it's a lot of speculation. I'll just have to wait and see. I can't imagine they had time. Because, like, I think they were pretty heavy into Marvel at this point. At least they were doing Captain America movies. And then they ended up, going on to Infinity War and shit. Point being, this is probably the top. This is probably as good as it gets. It reminds me, if you'll stay with me for a second, 1989. Joe Montana had already won 3 Super Bowls. He'd already come back from the back injury. He was not as good at coming back after the back injury as he had been before, but he was still really good. And the 49ers were like 10-0. They had just won the Super Bowl the year before, and this year they were 10-0. I remember a Monday Night Football game. And I remember Al Michaels clear. I can remember this was fucking over 30 years ago. I still remember clear as day. He said, and here we go. We got one of our last few chances to watch the greatest quarterback in NFL history having the greatest season of his life. And it just gave me this sense, like when he said that, I realized, yes, we're edging in on the end of his career. And we were. I think he had like another 3 or 4 years after that. And this was his last good season, his last great season, I'll say. So as I said that, I remember sitting down and watching that game because it wasn't a very worthy opponent. I think it was the New Orleans Saints, and he blew them out, of course. So they were trying to get you to like pay attention to the game and be excited about a game that you knew who was going to win. And their point was, you got to sit there and it allowed me to be in the headspace of appreciating him every play he went out there, every pass he threw. I still remember that game like the back of my hand. It allowed me to appreciate the game more than I would have if they hadn't said that. It allowed me to appreciate the man. A man at the top of his game with not many years left. It allowed me to appreciate the player. Like I said, he's at the top of his game. One of the best to ever play the position. And I would not have appreciated it in the moment had Al Michaels not said that. And so that's what I'm thinking of now. Like, whatever happens after this season, I think we can all agree this is Community at its peak efficiency. If it's a 10 now, maybe it only ever gets to an 8 again, which is better than most TV series. Certainly better than most comedies. So we're not saying seasons 5 and 6 suck. We're saying they're not as good, right? So, like, literally, as I sit down, I'm going to record the final 3 episodes of season 3 today. I'm going to live in the moment. I'm going to appreciate the fact that I'm watching what's probably the last 3 really, really special, fantastic, tip-top of the top episodes of the series. So, I'm just a person, I've always tried to live in the moment. I've always tried to appreciate the moment for what it is, knowing that everything must end. I remember feeling this way towards the end of Sopranos and Bojack, 2 truly great TV series I've seen. So I don't think I did appreciate it with Breaking Bad because I was watching it week to week in the moment. It wasn't a binge thing. So anyway, point is, this is getting kind of long, but you know what I'm saying. I just want you to know these next 3 episodes, I'm going to appreciate it and really drink in the fact that this is Community at its best. Now watch it be the 3 worst episodes they made. I don't know. We know season 3 is great. That don't mean these 3 episodes are fucking great. I saw a thumbnail. This is apparently another gimmick episode where it's going to be animated or some shit. They're trying to save money. So, okay, but still, still, I just, I'm having the mindset I want to really appreciate what I'm being given here. So, okay, so I just finished episode 20, and as I was saying at the outro for that episode, this was a bad episode on a Community grading scale. But if we're talking about overall episodes of TV overall, not just limited to episodes of Community, it's a good episode. Because I enjoyed it. I laughed. There are comedy episodes of sitcoms I've not laughed but once or twice. I tried a couple of sitcoms early on, like last year when I first started this reaction channel, and I don't even remember what they were. But it was some of the more popular. It wasn't Friends, but it was something of that era that was as popular. I can't remember. But I didn't laugh at the pilot, so I just never even published it. And so your pilot episode is supposed to be one of your strongest episodes. If the pilot can't make me laugh, and this I laughed many times, and this is their worst episode on Community, and this ain't their absolute worst, but one of the worst episodes of Community is better than your pilot, then that just shows you. So we're grading on this curve here, right? We're grading on a curve. It reminds me of Preston Jacobs was talking to his minion, Carmen, I think his name is, something like that. And he was talking about Game of Thrones, and he would give these Game of Thrones like an 8 or 9, these episodes, late season episodes. We're talking about episodes, season 7 and 8 episodes, he would give them an 8 or a 9. And people are like, man, what the fuck are you doing? You have all these criticisms, this long laundry list of criticisms, and yet you're giving it an 8, right? And he finally explained, he's like, look, I'm grading this on a Game of Thrones scale. I enjoy Game of Thrones. I enjoy bad Game of Thrones. So for Game of Thrones, it's an 8. But if he was comparing it to other shows that he's not obsessed with, that he hasn't devoted his life to, then it doesn't compare to like the great episodes of those shows. So like for instance, if it's an 8 for a Game of Thrones episode because he's obsessed with Game of Thrones, it might be a 4 for some other show, a well-written show. And he didn't say this. I'm saying it's like Person of Interest, Justified, Breaking Bad, Sopranos, right? If you're comparing the writing on those shows to the writing on this particular Game of Thrones episode, then all of a sudden it's a 4. So this episode, episode 20, was a 7 for comparing it to the writing on Community. But if I'm comparing it to the writing of some of the other sitcoms out there, then it suddenly becomes a 9 or 10. You see what I mean? So it's all about context. It's all about what context we're talking about. This was a bad Community episode, but it was still a good episode of TV. So I think I beat that horse to death. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying. And I've been thinking because this guy had this leaf blower came right next to my house. I don't rake my yard, so there's just somebody that comes and a part of the community. It just comes and fucking leaf blows it out, right? It was so loud I couldn't record. So that was about 20 minutes ago. So I had 20 minutes to think about why this episode didn't work for me. And I figured out the problem is they're trying to weld together a ridiculous caricature of a character, Pierce's father. Ridiculous. No human being ever existed like this, right? So it's a ridiculous fucking character. A cartoon character, essentially. No pun intended. Twice over. Colonel Sanders and the fact that this was digital. So you've got a cartoon character who has no foundation in reality. But then they're trying to, at the same time that they're doing that, they're presenting that to us, they're trying to give us a heartfelt story. Like real sentiment, real emotion. Not fake emotion, not like sitcom emotion, ooh, I'm jealous of my father or some shit, I'm jealous of my friend, Real emotion. The emotion that hits you in the feels, it's like, oh, God. Like, for instance, I'll give you a great example. Jeff and his father. Even though we haven't met his father yet, like what Jeff, the episode where we felt like where Jeff was interacting with his father, or when Pierce made Jeff think his father was coming, that was real emotion. Or any of the scenes where, like, Britta has had heart-to-heart people, or Annie and Jeff have had heart-to-hearts, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's been Shirley moments that have been super real. Shirley with her husband is another good example. because her husband's not a cartoon character of a character. So when they have real sentiment, real emotion between each other, we feel that. I felt nothing for Pierce. It's not just because I don't like Pierce's character and I don't like the actor. It has nothing to do with that. It's the fact that I can't feel the emotion between him, a real character, because Pierce is a three-dimensional character, and his two-dimensional cartoon character of father. Like, you can't weld that together. You have to pick one. You can't make him a cartoon character, but at the same time try to pull out, extract real emotion from that at the same time. You have to pick one. Either you want real emotion, so then you make him a real character. He could be a flawed racist, but just make him real, Or you have him be a cartoon character, we get our laughs that way, but then you can't expect real sentiment from him. And that was their problem. They tried to extract real sentiment, real emotion from a cartoon character, and it doesn't fucking work. It just doesn't work. Pierce is already kind of borderline as a cartoon character himself. They've already pushed the boundaries. Then they made his father. They had to make his father 10 times more ridiculous than him. It just loses all trace of reality. It's what I was talking about before in some other, I think it's Malcolm in the Middle. I was talking about Married with Children. Married with Children was a hilarious show. It's super funny. But it never caught me in the feels, not a single time in 11 seasons. You know why? Because it was a cartoon. You never for a second felt like these were real people going through real things. And I know every TV character is fictional, but most of these TV characters feel real because they put into work to make them feel real. Married Children never bothered. They knew they were cartoon and they knew it. I don't even think they really tried to go for fucking emotions very much. I don't think they really ever tried to hit the feels. Not that I remember. It's been a long time since I've watched it, but from what I remember, they never tried. And I never felt anything for it. I never felt a single drop of emotion, never felt sad. Nothing. If they had a winning day that didn't feel good, it's just you don't feel emotions for that sitcom because that's not what that sitcom's about. That sitcom is just about making you laugh. Period. That was it. So Pierce's dad belonged on Married with Children with all the other cartoon characters. So that's why this episode didn't work for me. Like, I had to think about it. The computer game animation gimmick was a little clunky, but I think they relatively made that work. I like the fact that they were cutting back. So it wasn't a completely wall-to-wall fucking animated episode. I really do enjoy that. I'm glad they did that. As a premise, it was great. I just think if they could have used any other character than their parent, which it wouldn't have worked for the premise they were going for, they would have tweaked the premise. So I think I've laid out. That's why it didn't work for me. I'd be curious what you think. All right, so that one's down. We got 2 more episodes. This is episode 21. I can hear the leaf blower blowing up again, so I'm going to have to wrap this vlog up. But I'm getting ready to be, whenever the leaf blower finishes, I'll be watching episode 21 called First Chang Dynasty. God damn it. Maybe I should just do that one with the leaf blower blowing, because it's about fucking Chang, and fuck Chang. And also, fuck that leaf blower. God damn, that shit's loud and obnoxious. Alright, anyway, I'm done. That was fucking great. I do hate the fact that we had a Pierce-centric storyline, and then we have a Chang-centric storyline. As 2 of the final 3 episodes, as I'm watching this block, oh yeah, I'm going to throw a party, and there's all this nostalgia in advance, and I'm just going to savor every moment. And it's like the 2 characters I like the least, But it's funny, like I was talking before. I like these characters the least, and they're still funnier than like 90% of the characters on any other sitcom. It's amazing to me how often I laugh at Pierce and Chang, especially Chang. He's way funnier. The actor's better, too. But how much I laugh at them, they're my least favorite. And I fucking laugh at them way more than, like, say, I think it was Mad About You was one of the ones I tried and did not laugh a single time in the pilot. I think or Wings, or I don't know, man. There was a couple I tried, but I don't remember if I'm thinking of them now because like they were just so much in pop culture and I heard them all the time, or if those are the ones I actually tried. I honestly don't remember what it was. I tried to look for the files and I probably deleted them or some shit. But whatever it was, like Chang would be like the superstar of some of these other shitty sitcoms. He would be the breakout star. He would be the fucking Jim Carrey of that series. Meanwhile, here he's like the 8th or 9th banana, at least the 9th banana. Because Dean's better than him. You got the main 7, and you got Dean. Yeah, he's like the 9th banana on this show. And he would be a fucking rock star, just absolutely dominating some other sitcom. Just shows you how deep their bench is on this show. So even the characters I hate, I mean, they can fucking carry an episode, and I'll laugh my ass off. Because that was a great fucking episode. That shit was hilarious. does make me wonder where else. Or maybe this is kind of is a send off. Maybe they're writing off Chang now. I don't know. But this felt like a nice wrap up to his character. Like, towards the end of the season, they wrapped up his storyline, wrapped up his character. Maybe he can go do some other shit. Get the fuck off this show. Maybe he can go dominate some other show. Like I was talking about. I just saw that. That made me very happy. All right. Well, I'm going to jump into the finale now. Looking at that, it looks like it's called Introduction to Finality. Well, I don't like the sound of that. I think that they thought they were going to get canceled at the end of the third season. So maybe like they had to set up for they might have had to set up as to be a series finale. Just in case. It turned out it was a series finale for, the Russos and for, I guess Starburn left. But it's so weird that Starburn had already been written out of the show. But then he didn't leave until the end of the season. That's very weird. Wonder how that worked out. Because I heard Dan Harmon didn't find out he was fired until a week after this, or the same week that the finale aired. So it wasn't like they knew when they were shooting it or they were, edited it or whatever. It was after it was completely wrapped up. But anyway, let's go ahead and check this out. Well, I just finished the season finale of season 3. It was a satisfying finale. And as I mentioned at the end of that one, it kind of works both ways. It could be a series finale if they'd been canceled and stuff. But we all know it wasn't. We know that season 4, and what I didn't know until I looked on IMDb, the episode numbers for each season. Because I was just curious, because somebody said that it was shortened, right? 13 episodes for each of the final 3 seasons. So, that's 39 episodes. We've already gotten 64 episodes or something like that. Somewhere around 64, 65 episodes for the first 3 seasons. Only about half that for the last half of the series. But for season 4, because I know the quality is low, here's the approach I'm going to take. I'm going to continue to do full reactions over on Patreon for all of season 4 as normal. The way I've been doing for the first 3 seasons. But if I watch an episode of season 4 and it sucks ass, and I just don't think it's funny, I'm not going to edit a reaction for YouTube. I'm going to skip it. Because it takes between 90 minutes to 2 hours just to edit it. It takes a half hour to export, a half hour to upload. So that's 3 to 4 hours of time where either myself or my computer or both are tied up for just editing the shit. Because it takes a long time to edit the shit. There's a lot involved there. You got to fit it within 10 minutes or less. And, deciding what to keep and what to take. You got to go back and forth. And you wouldn't think for a 22-minute episode it would take very long, but it takes a long time. It takes at least 90 minutes. And then, like I said, with export and upload. So there's no reason to put that amount of effort into something that wasn't good. That I didn't enjoy and probably won't make for a good reaction, I kind of wanted to just skip season 4. And people said it's not canon and they kind of hand wave it and shit in season 5. And, so I don't see the point of watching season 4, but a lot of people have said that, especially patrons, they want me to do it, so I'll do it. But like I said, it may turn out that I may hate the entire season and not edit a single episode in the entire season. I'll skip those seasons. So the next thing you'll see on YouTube, you won't notice anything because I'm so far ahead on Patreon just on how much I've viewed. I haven't even finished editing season 2, and here we are at the end of season 3 going to season 4 as I record this, right? So you won't notice on YouTube. You'll just see, okay, maybe one week you'll see episode 1 and episode 5 of season 4. And then the next week you'll see episodes 8 and then episode 13 of season 4, and that's all of season 4. And then you'll see me going into season 5. Or maybe you'll just see, the next thing you'll see after this will be the first episode of season 5. It all depends on whether I enjoy it or not. Like I said, I'm not going to waste my fucking time editing some shit just to put on YouTube that I hated. So, we'll see. Now, I could be wrong. I may love season 4. I may think, y'all motherfuckers are crazy. Because I heard season 2 of True Detective was bad. And I love season 2. I fucking love this. I'm so glad I didn't skip. I asked people to let me skip season 2 of True Detective. They said no. I watched it, and I fucking love it. I absolutely love it. So, it's entirely possible motherfuckers are just haters and they're wrong. I don't think so. Because I think Dan Harmon and the Russo brothers leaving is a big deal. And a lot of the writers left too, apparently. Other writers. So it's entirely possible so we'll just have to see. It's actually going to be a fun exercise for me to see whether, oh damn, did I enjoy that enough to edit or not? That's actually going to be fun for me. I'm going to enjoy that. And, but, we'll get there when we get there. We'll see what happens. I'm going to start recording those in a couple days, and we'll just have to see, How much I like or don't like it. It's gonna be. I'm kind of curious, and probably curious enough to have watched it anyway, just because it's like it reaches a certain height of mythology where you're like, man, it can't possibly be that bad, right? So I don't know. We'll find out. But so far, for now, that's the end of season 3. It's been a great first half of the series. Really, more than the first half. We're talking episode total. But as far as season total, this is exactly the halfway point.